All right, my friends. This is my favorite part of the day, and I hope it's your favorite part of the day. This is the time that we go live with some absolutely amazing folks and we talk about some amazing things that are happening in our community. And what community is that? That is the Avalanche community. So, welcome, welcome, welcome to today's live stream on Retro9000. And we're talking about Avalanche's $40 million retroactive grant program. And it's designed to reward the builders who are already live and making an impact. So today we're going to break down how everything works, what we've learned from the first cohort, and how you can kind of position your project for the next snapshot and to help us do that. I'm joined by some absolute stars. So we have Daniel Ortiz, Senior Program Manager over at the Avalanche Foundation. Say what's up, my friend.
Hey everyone. I think most of you already know me. I work as a program manager here and essentially, help with the grant programs, infrabiddle AI, and also, helping Mehmet here with the retro program.
See, I love the energy Daniel's coming with. He knows he's famous. He knows that you should know him. I love that. I'm also joined by another absolute star. We have Xenia Soborova, ecosystem lead of Avalanche Foundation. Say what's up, my friend.
Hey everybody, I'm Xenia. My goal is really to support builders long-term in the ecosystem, especially helping them finding product to market fit. And so for Retro9000, I worked closely with grants team to help them spot high impact projects.
And we really, really appreciate you for all the work that you do, Xenia. Thank you so much. And last, but certainly not least, we have our friend Mehmet, aka Memo, program manager over at the Avalanche Foundation.
Yes, what's up? Hey guys, hey everybody. Great to be here. So yeah, my name is Mehmet, but I go by Memo. Like, did you get the memo, Rui? Did you get it? Yeah, very excited to be here. I joined recently the foundation in February, also a program manager, as Daniel already mentioned. I'm supporting him with the efforts at the infrabiddle and infrabiddle AI, but mostly focusing on the Retro 9000 grant program. So yeah, very excited to be here.
And we're very, very excited to have you. I'm sorry, I'm not humble. He said, Breevy, I got to put him up here. But we're really, really, I'm really appreciative of all of you folks for joining us today, especially to my audience out there, the Avalanche community. I see a lot of love in the chat right now. I'm seeing a lot of GMs. I'm seeing a lot of love in the comments, and I really, really appreciate you folks, man, because we have an excellent show for you folks today. I'm not going to tease you folks too much. I'm going to just get straight into things here. And I guess just to start things off, Memo, if you don't mind, could you talk a little bit about what is Retro9000 and who is it for?
All right. I mean, as quickly mentioned during my introduction, we really manage three main programs here at the foundation: the infrabiddle and the infrabiddle AI program, plus the Retro9000. The biggest difference, and we can dive a little bit deeper to it later, is the infrabiddle AI programs are more milestone-based, where the Retro9000 one, as the name indicates, it's a retroactive program, meaning projects, teams, they build first, and then they are rewarded accordingly on what they have built. Very exciting. This is for teams and projects that are already established, but also for new projects that haven't done anything. Solo developers, we have great examples how it worked out for them, which will be covered later on. So this program pretty much runs in snapshots. We had the first snapshot in April 15, and then evaluated those projects that qualified for the snapshot. And every snapshot is going to happen quarterly. So the next one is actually coming up next month, July 15th, if I'm not mistaken. And then quarterly rounds after that. We're going to have different rounds, most likely later on. But the current round is focusing on Avalanche L1s and infrastructure tooling. So the first snapshot was focused on that, and the second snapshot that will come up will focus on that as well, and we will talk more about the eligibility criteria later as well. So yeah, this is in very short the Retro9000 program.
So for one thing, I just have to make a quick comment. I love the thought of deciding to take this path specifically, right? Of doing retroactive kind of grants as opposed to kind of the traditional grant model of kind of like rewarding upfront and then like letting them build. Now we're kind of, hey, what did you actually build? And now we'll reward you for that. And I think that's a good way to kind of like think about things. But I also want to talk to you about your thoughts about it. Like, you know, why did you folks decide? And I guess Xenia, you can kind of help me out with this. Why use a retroactive funding model instead of like the traditional kind of grant model?
Yeah, that's a really good one. I think we all know and we can agree that Avalanche ecosystem is much more mature these days. And so going forward, we are thinking that there will be more and more focus on retroactive grant funding. And here are some of the reasons. I think the primary one is really that retroactive grant funding helps to align with traction and success of the teams. It definitely encourages builders to shape proactively and go public. And that in turn drives more transparency to us as the foundation in terms of what kind of teams we support. And it really drives real network usage. And then also, speaking from a practical point, we think that the process is much smoother with retroactive funding because there is less risk management, if I may say. We can see immediately the impact and the results and the traction that the particular team brings on board. And so the decision making here is pretty straightforward. And at the same time, pivoting is relatively easier with this type of funding. Why? Because when it's a milestone-based grant, you agree upfront with the foundation on terms and conditions on the milestones you are aiming to achieve, and then it's less flexible. Like you need to rearrange the contracts. You need to like almost in some cases renegotiate the deal, right? With retroactive, you decide what milestones, what is on the roadmap that you're trying to achieve. And then if you need to pivot, then you pivot and you reflect that on the dashboards on Retro9000 website. So we think overall, the process is way smoother. It's less riskier to make a decision as well on teams. And what is even more important, it drives adoption, transparency, and really encourages builders to shape and get funded based on traction that you show.
So that's like absolutely amazing. Like, again, I can't say this enough. Like, I love that we're thinking on this front of rewarding folks for what they're actually building. And then I love like the milestones, right? Like being able to actually kind of work together on those milestones and kind of set those together as opposed to it just kind of being like a template almost. What I'm noticing from folks working within like the Retro9000 sphere is there's a lot of hands-on. It's more hands-on between you and the team. And I think that's really, really beautiful. But I also want to know as well is, like this is big for those teams, but like how do I like qualify for something like this? Maybe Daniel, you could help me out on that one.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the basic eligibility criteria are quite simple. You need to have a project that's related to the scope of this grant. In this case, it needs to be either an Avalanche L1 or Avalanche related tooling for this particular round that we are speaking about. But you just, after you sort of are building this, then you just go to the retro page and then submit your application there. You will be listed by us if you meet the requirements into the Discover page then, where anyone can just check that out, and it's essentially a list of the projects that have applied. And then you obviously need to have shipped something, so you need to be live on mainnet. And when you are live on, you need to let us know. And this is important, I think, because some teams forgot to do this step. They can still qualify for the future rounds, But I want to emphasize this: you need to tell us that you're alive for us to be able to know that you're alive. So just keep track of that. And that's pretty much it. Then we will just meet and we'll take a decision. But I want to highlight here one very important point, and it's related to what Xenia was talking about this is an opportunity to prove yourself, but this is not a guaranteed money, right? Like, you need to actually prove yourself. You don't just submit your application, do the bare minimum, like create a L1. It's extremely easy to create an L1, and I think the Avalanche team has done a great thing, with the infrastructure. Avalanche infrastructure is great, and it's so easy to spin up an L1 that doesn't tell us anything. You need to show prove yourself and show us quality. And we will go over that later, I'm sure. But just wanted to emphasize that just meeting the minimum criteria does not guarantee that you will get funding. You need to prove us your worth.
I love what you just said, Daniel. No, you can't just come in and launch an L1 and then just get this this Retro9000 grant. No, you got to actually build something. And no, you can't just build something that nobody cares about, or that doesn't actually it's just whatever. You have to build something of high quality. Like, we're looking for high quality projects. Like, I love it so much. And so now we've talked a lot about what Retro9000 is, what the requirements are. For everyone out there, I'll pop it up on the screen one more time. This is the website that you need to go to get more information, application, et cetera, et cetera. Let's talk a little bit about how the program has gone so far. Memo, could you kind of help me out with that?
Yeah, of course. So as I mentioned earlier, we had the first snapshot on April 15. So right after that, we started evaluating all the projects that qualified for this first snapshot. And we had some very, very amazing teams, and essentially ended up funding 19 projects, different L1s, but also infrastructure toolings such as dashboards, explorers, etc. We got
Memo, do me a favor, can you say that number one more time?
I'm sorry?
Can you say that number one more time?
19 projects. 19, yes, 19. And the grant amount was about $1 million worth of AVAX. So very, very, very happy with the first snapshot results. So it's just amazing that it's just amazing to see how the projects have done so far. And yeah, we're looking forward for the next snapshot.
Yo, that's absolutely huge. That's why I had to make sure, I was like, say that number one more time. 19 different projects receiving grants from the Retro9000 grant. I mean, that's absolutely amazing. For everyone out there, if you ever worked for a startup, if you've ever been a builder, you know what that is like, and how something like a grant can be completely life-changing for not only you, but this entire community. And so this is absolutely huge. So could you talk a little bit, and Daniel, I'll probably need your help for this one. Can you talk a little bit about what made the selected projects kind of stand out? Because I'm sure you had a bunch of applications.
Yeah, I mean, it's about what we were talking about, right? Proving yourself. So these projects have shown that they have traction, or that they are useful to the ecosystem. They are value add. They are providing something. They are not just doing the bare minimum. These projects have, for example, gotten good metrics. Think TPS, number of validators. Cognet comes to mind with this one, for example. Cognet is just doing amazing numbers when it comes to TPS and number of validators. So you can see that the L1 is actually getting adopted. So I think it's just a great metric, a great just showing adoption. Another thing that we look at is whether you are new building at the ecosystem, and if you have built a great product. And here, L1bit comes to my mind. L1bit has been absolutely, this guy is one solo dev who has received absolutely no funding before from Avalanche or foundation. And on his own, he just decided to build an analytics platform because he liked it. And the platform actually started getting adopted. Like people starting talking about on Twitter because it has an amazing UI and super like visual flows. And so, this is the type of projects we want to reward. Like he got rewarded because he built something. He proved to us that his project was worth something. He built first, asked, and we gave him money later. He didn't come asking for money beforehand, so to speak. Another that we could highlight is, I guess, Tesseract. Tesseract is building, is essentially helping us realize the L1 vision, like the Avalanche vision of all chains feeling like one. They are like the standard interoperability solution for Avalanche L1s. So we wanted to support that. And I guess another type of thing that we can support that's not specifically an L1 is teams that are building open source tools that any other team can leverage. So in the case of F-Chain, for example, this is a gaming L1, right? So you might think, okay, what does this have to do with public goods? So this team actually built a smart contract to manage the validator nodes and enables teams to stake using NFTs. And so this piece of software, they open source it, anyone can use it. And actually we expect other L1s that want to run node sales or stake NFTs to use this piece of software. And so because they are doing this for the whole chain, they are building it for themselves, but also indirectly benefiting the whole chain. This is something we also want to, highlight, support, and it definitely fits totally within the program.
I think you mentioned Tesseract. My connection went away for a second. Just since I don't want to forget about that.
Yeah, we can bring them up. Let's highlight them really quick. Boom,
yeah,
boom, boom.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a super cool tool, right? Like you can just send over almost instantly, pretty much instantly between L1s, any token to any other token. They have also built the NFT bridge that FIFA is going to use. So it's just absolutely great team that's building Avalanche L1 infrastructure. They built it, they show it to us, and we reward them. That's kind of the process. We don't, like through Retro, we are not giving them a grant beforehand. We tell them everyone has an opportunity with Retro to show themselves, essentially, prove us what they can do. And, so it's very open.
And so hats off to you folks for one thing, like the teams that you've chosen and like what they've actually built, right? And I can tell like what they built is of high quality and like based off the comments that I'm seeing like in the chats right now. Everyone's just like Chad, team of devs, solo Chad, like like let's go. Like everyone in there is just cheering these teams on. And it shows that what they've built is really, really actually loved by the community. And so you're choosing the correct teams to actually, okay, let's give these folks a grant and then let's see what they do from here. And I'm very, very excited to see what they start to build down the line. Can we also talk about like a little bit, maybe a few tips of what should builders kind of focus on to help boost their chances? I'll open this up for the whole squad.
I can start. I think two really important ones. First, make your impact easy for us to understand and appreciate, which basically means support your results with the data that you can show. It could be on-chain information, transaction count, TVL if applicable. And then related to that is that we have dashboards published on Retro9000 website, which every team must update, so that we know what are the new features that you shipped, what are the new milestones that you've achieved, and then we'll evaluate based on the roadmap that is shown through these dashboards. So another one, which I think is also important and was highlighted by all of you today, is engaging with our community is a really important point. It is about going out there, talking to the community on socials, engaging on socials, just being on the radar. I think like some cases that we mentioned here were just exactly like that. People will start to tweet and repost about you because you share some interesting information and details that you marked on Avalanche. And that is also supported by the fact that we actually have a community vote. And for some projects, I think it's been important when we've evaluated them. So please keep that in mind. So from my side, two important things. Make your impact clear and supported by data. Secondly, engage with Avalanche community at large in any way that you find suitable for your brand. Stand out. Anything else, Memo? Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I guess this, I totally echo what you're saying. That would be like the first part where it's visible for us. And again, like Daniel also mentioned it already, following the steps of like marking yourself live, so we can actually, this is the first way of filtering, seeing, okay, these people are live, and we take our due diligence very serious. That's why it takes a little bit longer. I would like to give a little bit more transparency on the evaluation process. We have a very dedicated decision matrix process coming to the play. So it's not just the foundation, but it's rather a whole effort from the ecosystem. So like, again, the community voting plays a role. We take that into account. And also we have a dedicated committee, which consists of members of the foundation, but also from Avalabs. Plus each project has its dedicated BD lead and DevRel team member, meaning we actually reach out to all of them and ask them to give their feedback as well. So it's like at least 8, 9, 10 people are involved in evaluating only one project, right? So it is like, just would like to emphasize, like there is a due diligence part that we take very serious, and things like team quality, potential impact, right? How innovative or original is your idea, your project, that comes into account. And one thing that I would like to emphasize as well is past funding and the amount of past funding you have received, because Retro9000 is not the only program we have here in the ecosystem. We have Infrabrittle, but we have also Avalabs that do their deals. We have Codebase, etc. We have different programs that already have invested in some of the projects or gave them a grant, meaning we take all of this into account and come up with a holistic way to approach the whole thing. And we have weekly dedicated meetings where we really go deep into the projects and talk about it. So just wanted to show like there is a whole process for the people who say, oh, this is taking a little bit long. We rather make it a little bit longer and make sure that we make the right decisions. And if you have a great project, you will get rewarded one way or another, right? Like we are here to help the ecosystem, but you have to fulfill all the criteria. One thing I would like to mention as well is some people thought, oh, I missed the first snapshot, like what happens, why I am not involved in this. There are like simple reasons, like the simple one, if you forgot to mark yourself as live, like that's was one of the eligibility criteria. It's a simple one, but like we'd like to keep it fair for everybody. So like emphasizing and make sure you mark yourself as live. But then also, don't worry, these are continuous rounds. So like if you're not eligible for the first snapshot, you will be for the second. This actually gives you a little bit more time to perfect it or make more improvements, right? Because if you have received most likely something before, this will be also considered again for the second snapshot as well. So don't worry, people. You will be like we will evaluate everybody that fulfills the criteria, marks themselves as live, and we keep it going from there. Daniel, do you have anything to add? If I forgot,
I think that was a fantastic overview of how our decision making process works. I think, just to summarize, I think like there are like, you could say 3 blocks. Like there is the community, which is voting for projects. We take that into account. There is the feedback that we receive from Avalanche EG leads, and then there is this committee that we have, which essentially oversees all of all of the projects and can take into account all the differences here between them and essentially make a decision. I think that's great. In terms of tips, I want to echo what Xenia said, but essentially it is just do what you have to do for your project. You have to reach out to the community, you have to build, you have to market yourself. So essentially you don't have to do anything other than what you must, and keep communicating with us, right? Let us know about it.
All right. And I guess now is probably a good time for us to, I guess we could take some questions from the community if you folks are down. 2 thumbs
Let's
up.
go.
Let's get it, baby. All right.
Before that, real quick, just want to remind on the next snapshot that is coming up, just for people to get ready. And I'm not sure, by the way, before we go there, big shout out to Tom, who is helping immensely in the background. So like, this is us, the ecosystem team here at the foundation, plus Tom, who's doing incredible work in the background. So big shout out to him. He's doing all the social media part of it. He's our senior social media manager. Just wanted to mention that he's on our team and doing a fantastic job. So he should be, I think, I'm not even sure, I didn't check X or Twitter yet, but the announcement for the second snapshot should be out either today or tomorrow. I'm not 100% sure. So just in this call, live stream, again, live, the second snapshot is happening on July 15th. So you have a little bit less than a month to get ready for that. Again, all the tips that Xenia and Daniel already mentioned. And again, please mark yourself as live, and then we can make sure and start the due diligence process and assign you to the BD leads and Dev leads that will help us with the aspect. And one thing to note one more time, it's in the discretion of the foundation at the end of the day if the project is going to get funded or not. So just fulfilling the bare minimum of eligibility doesn't make you, won't give you a grant. So it's at the discretion of the foundation. But yeah, just wanted to clarify that part. I guess we are good to go for the questions now.
Everybody, if you are ready for community questions, comment Tom. We love Tom. All right, first question. What's happening with referrals?
I guess I can take that one. We have finalizing the process for the referrals. So in very short, stay tuned for that.
Excellent. And then they ask, can we vote again in this round or change our votes?
I guess I can continue. So there's a chill factor aspect to it, right? Like if you already voted and you run out of the votes, you cannot vote for that anymore. It's based on your chill factor that is predetermined on the activities you had before. And you can unfortunately not change your votes. However, we will have new things coming up, new rounds where we will consider new aspects of verticals, but I don't want to give too much information out yet. So we are exploring new ways to make it more even better than it is already.
Yes, just to add on to that, I think here essentially what we want to say is this is the same round as the previous round. It's just a different snapshot. So we take different snapshots within the same sort of rounds, but then we will have other rounds that might not be focused specifically on L1 or L1 tooling. We could have other sort of rounds in the future, and for those, you will be able to vote again.
I see. And then I got one here that says, what does a continuous round mean?
Essentially,
go ahead, Daniel. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, essentially what I just said, like a continuous round means that it is under sort of the same umbrella, right? Like we just have several snapshots and we, give grants according to those snapshots. And a different round will be when we create another sort of, you could say, sub program within Retro that instead of reward focus on L1 tooling and L1s, focus on on another specific sort of area, and we target those projects. It'll be a different round within this context.
I see. And then I got my last one here. They were live on mainnet, but they weren't selected.
Right. This is actually a great question. They were live on mainnet. They weren't selected. This is likely because they did not mark themselves as live. So you need to let us know. Like, there are a lot of projects out there that are building, and we cannot keep track of everyone. Within the Retro9000 website, there is a way to let us know. You just mark yourselves as live, and then we will see that, and we will be able to give you a grant. And for this specific project, what I'll tell them is you can just mark yourself as live, and then we will take you into account for the next snapshot, right? Like, you haven't really missed out on anything. It's just a timing thing, right? Like, you did not get the grant in the first round. You can still get it in the second round.
Just on top of that, as of right now, I think there are 190 projects on the Retro9000 platform. So like, this way, there is this filtering thing that helps us already. Like, we cannot go to each single and see what did they ship already to mainnet or not. Like, there's a due diligence process that comes into the play, right? That's where, like, we also have our BD team and their role. But again, simplest way, as Daniel said, make sure you mark yourself as live.
And make sure that you build something as well. Because and I just want to, we also have, like, this is another possibility, right? Like, maybe you just built an L1 that, we saw, for example, I think it was one submission that only had like one single validator, no UI, nothing, no transactions, nothing going on, that you can spin that in one afternoon and doesn't mean anything to us. And so, just checking the boxes will not necessarily, make you eligible. You have to actually build something.
Love it. I love that we're focusing on actually building things, because that's what this is all is for, man. Like, at the end of the day, like, it's just making this technology better day by day. And I guess just to kind of start wrapping things up too, I do kind of want to start looking into the future a bit. Can you talk a little bit about what's kind of coming up next for Retro9000?
Do you want to take that one, Memo?
Yeah, I mean, you can take it too. Like, well, maybe we can talk a little bit more about the post grant aspect of it, like what we are doing with the grantees for the first snapshot. We can start there.
I think we lost him.
Oh, okay. He's close for everybody.
Yes, when it was at the highest point.
I thought it was
me. I think there are two questions here. One is what happens with grantees after they get the retro grant, and I think Xenia can answer that amazingly. And the other is what happens with the program. And what happens with the program is we will continue with our the continuous round. So July will be the next snapshot. After July, there will be another snapshot in October, and then another one in January. So you can just kind of ongoingly apply. But then there might be future rounds that are focused on more sort of open up what retro is about. So it won't be just about L1 tooling. It might be about more other things. And now I'll leave Xenia answer the other point.
Yeah, I wanted to mention the stuff that we haven't really talked about is like, if I'm a new builder, I'm not affiliated with Avalanche yet. Why should I apply to retro funding? Why should I build an Avalanche? And this is, I think, a very big question, but I have quite a sleek answer on that one. I think one important thing that stands out with this ecosystem and teams that support it is that we are doing really amazing job, like these two teams, the foundation, labs, and then we also have amazing affiliated teams like Team One, is really working a lot and spending a lot of our team resources on supporting builders long-term in the community and really focusing on founders that we've invested in. And we do that by helping them identify product to market fit within the ecosystem, within Web3 in general. supporting on business development front, helping them with co-marketing activities, and hand-holding even when necessary. And I think this is what stands out with Avalanche. And I've been in crypto for many years now, and I've never seen the consolidated support that we try to give to builders that we trust and believe in. Yeah.
I appreciate you for bringing that up too, as well, Zen-Ya. And I also want to say, like, hats off to the whole foundation team for this entire program. From everything that I'm hearing, it's amazing and it's high quality, and then I see the reaction from the community in the comments. Like, these are natural reactions, my friend. I'm not telling you guys to say these things. Like, they're out here saying, shout out this team, GM to that team, shout out this dev. Like, the community is really behind all of these different awardees, I think is the term, these different grantee awardees. Ooh, that's hard to say. But the community is really behind all these folks that we've picked. And that really just shows, one, how well this program has been designed, and then two, how well that design is being executed by you folks right here. And Tom, don't forget Tom. But yeah, just want to say, man, hats off to you folks, man. I really appreciate you. And I'm also going to put this up here too for everybody. But yeah, I guess I'll just start winding this thing down, my friends. For everyone out there, if you just checked out the website down below, all the information that you just kind of peeped on this stream is going to be there, as well as applications, all that fun stuff. But also, if you just joined and you want to hear Daniel, Xenia, and Memo kind of talk everything out, and you just joined because Memo's dropping alpha. Memo dropped some alpha. Actually, everybody dropped alpha. They dropped some good tips for making sure that you can actually receive the grant. And so I highly recommend you rewatch this live if you kind of tuned in too late, or I'll do my best to get this up on Spotify within the next 24 hours. You can check it out on there. And then make sure you do this as well. Boom! Make sure you follow at Avalanche FDN as well. And I'm going to give you folks an amazing pro tip. And please come here. Come here. I want to make sure you guys listen to this. Bell notifications, everybody. Bell notifications. That will make sure that anytime they post, you get a notification for it straight to your cellular device, so that you can make sure that you stay updated with everything that's happening with the Avalanche Foundation, Retro9000, literally everything within the community. You want to stay updated. So make sure you put those bell notifications on. Make sure you check out retro9000.avax.network if you're looking to apply for the Retro9000 grant. Make sure you rewatch this so you can get all the pro tips and the alpha on either this live stream that I'm about to end right now or on Spotify, my friends. And make sure you have a good day. I'm going to end this thing by simply saying, peace.